evening if you're catching this after the fact. Hope you are having an awesome day wherever you are. I am Rachel Hoyt, creator of the Awesome Deck and Awesome Tarot Journal, and just here to have a little bit of spiritual thought time with you for the day. Forgot I didn't get my paint ready. I also do a little art while we chat because I'm a multitasker. I get a little antsy, I suppose, and need the distraction. And on that note, we are going to get started here with the card of the day. But, the message which came out yesterday, as have many of the other ones, definitely speaks to me. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a little announcement. One of the things that I am afraid of and a bit emotional about is this live show right here, right now. It's getting a little much for me already, and I'm a little afraid to say that I want to change it. Again, I keep changing gears. Notice it's a wrench, but it's kind of like changing gears if you move the wrench. Um, just pointing out how it matches my life. So, anyhow, we're only going to change a little bit. Today will be the final, shall we say, more in-depth reading where we go into a little bit more of my research. And from now on, we're just going to focus on the card of the day that I will draw at the end of each day and give you a day to think about, come back with some stories perhaps of how it spoke to you or did not speak to you. Feel free to come back and say that. Quotes, scriptures, whatever you find related to this card. It'll just be a discussion of one card per day. And I will also, as I have been doing, bring some scriptures and quotes and whatnot that I found which relate to the meaning that I intend for this card. So, as I just said, I created this deck, this card, and I based it on one set of meanings. And, that's the true theme of today's chat that I had planned for our final. It wasn't going to be the final, but for now, our final discussion day is the fact that there's so many different ways to choose how to read the cards. How do you pick which is the best way for you? That actually matches this card in what I intend it to mean. When I'm analyzing poker hands, you'll hear me say, to summarize it super succinctly, that it means panic, don't panic. Because there is a logical reason to panic, something that makes a lot of sense, but don't is the message. And in this case, I've summarized it with, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the oldest proverb I found, non-religious proverb that speaks to the message that I'm trying to convey. And so that also, matches what I just mentioned from my personal experience. Perhaps, I didn't mention it this way, but I created this live show to try to fix my vlog, if you will. I'm not getting the number of views that I want, so I'm trying new things to expand my coverage and meet more people and show you more of the message that I want this channel to be about. Because even though I am showing poker hands, which doesn't sound super spiritual, spirituality is the main focus for me. Excuse me, extra froggy this morning. So I'm bringing the focus to spirituality. I've been working on this painting for a few days, if you haven't seen it yet. In the background is Prima Causa, potential first tarot card in the world. We don't exactly know what those images were created for, but they are the Tarocchi de Mantegna, or Baldini cards, is where prima causa comes from. And then I got a already partially torn Bible from the thrift store and tore it some more to make these sunrays here, because um, prima causa may have some Catholic association. It may have, well, the Pope at the time, Pope Pius II, may have been present and commissioned these background images. So back to our story of the day, though. When you're, that there's so many different ways to read the cards. Uh, Prima causa and all of the images in the Tarocchi de Mantegna are different from the tarot cards that eventually became the most popular that we follow today. All, those cards are all different from 52 playing cards, which each have their own meaning individually. And actually, there's a bunch of different ways to read the playing cards. Some people give each playing card a meaning that's associated with the 78 card tarot deck. Some of them say they're just the minor arcana. Some people, as we're about to discover in today's reading, this system, it's almost like a horoscope. You just use your birthday, and then it leads to all of the other readings, everything that you might want to know, including a full life reading and annual readings, I believe is what it recommends. And then there's even more. But how do you decide which system to follow? I see people asking this all the time online. And what proved true for me, but sounds a little strange to outsiders, I'm sure, is to use the system that speaks to you. I wouldn't have started doing it at all if the system that I stumbled upon didn't correlate with what I was already feeling intuitively. So, if that system hadn't spoken to me, I wouldn't have explored this at all. And several of the systems that I've found since then don't speak to me as much, shall we say, or their systems don't make quite as much sense. That being said, this one that we're about to go over, it has extra interest for me. I happen to be a twin, and so one of my lifelong objections to horoscopes and things associated with, making all predictions based on your birthday is the fact that I'm not exactly like my twin. We are fraternal twins, which means you are not exactly the same. But we do have many, many things in common. So anytime something's like, we can tell you everything because of your birthday, I'm like, well, really? Show me that you can make this apply to both me and my sister, because I know both of us pretty well. So, on that note, let's explore today's reading a little bit. Oh, well, first, actually, this one that's right in front of us. So, a little more on the Six of Hearts. The longer explanation that I wrote for what the Six of Hearts is trying to say is right here. The Six of Hearts says, do not freak out. The pressure is on, circling about. Your heart will now reach to take control. Think things through. Stay calm. You must guard your soul. Keep that in mind. You want to look for what is really the most important thing and make sure that you are staying calm and not letting fear and emotion take control. And interestingly enough, that's essentially what a lot of leaders in life and religion would also say that you should do, just in general, in reaction to fear. So Epictetus said Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. So it's all about perspective, is kind of what he's saying. You don't have to be upset by it. You can simply observe it, which is basically what a Buddhist would say. Observe it, but don't react. Marcus Aurelius said it similarly. If you are distressed by anything external, it is your judgment about it. So, again, perspective. And a little different way of saying it, but for those who need a Bible verse, 2 Timothy 1:7. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And I will come back to this verse over and over and over in life. Not this one, but the one I'm about to say. The thing that I always think of in regards to fear as a Christian is the verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When I was a kid, the reason I'm giggling is because when I was a kid, a girl at my church went around saying that verse over and over and over and over and over until we all just wanted to smack her because she was working on confidence about something. I'm just saying, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me over and over and over and over and over. So that's why it's always stuck in my head, but in a good way. There's no need to be afraid. Um, Either you're trusting in yourself solely if you are not religious and looking within, or you're trusting in God. But either way, it's about faith, and staying calm will help you get farther most of the time in life. So that is the advice of the Six of Hearts. And for our final reading today, like I was saying, we have this one. What is your card? This is a super, super old book from, I don't think I printed the page, but it uses your birthday to reveal everything about love and success in your life. It is from the late 1800s or early 1900s. So, let's just do a little of the forward. Encouraged many years ago by a growing awareness that life has a perceivable pattern, I joined the many others seeking some way that this pattern could be understood and that knowledge applied constructively. Contemporary science supplied the technological tools to take care of my material needs, even the psychological insights on how to live with the present order of things. But when I turned to it for an overall rationale, a purpose to life, it had no meaningful answer. Religion offered faith, which I still value most highly, but unfortunately, all too often, it seems to bury knowledge and truth under dogma and bigotry, leaving mankind at the mercy of a seemingly capricious God. Try as I have, this I could not accept. I don't feel that my prayers to God for enlightenment have been all in vain. In fact, the ensuing research for wisdom, the teachers and sources of information made available to me along the way, I believe are, in part, answers to my petitions for divine guidance. I'm not going to read the whole intro, but again, I just want to make it clear. They're doing it for, they believe they are talking to God. Oh, I did get the copyright. It is from, well, this one's 1978. Excuse me, I was far off on what year it is. Most things I've been reading lately are from the late 1800s. Anyhow, when you go through the intro, it tells you to pick your card based on your birthday from the list, and that they have utilized numerological and astrological influences associated with my birthday to pick the card for me, the single card from the deck that will represent me. So, They do give us a little bit of information on what each suit. I was maybe going to go in depth on that, but decided to skip. And we have a little keyword table. Uh, Long and short of it is this one varies quite a bit from the definitions that I have otherwise been using. First and foremost, the Nine of Hearts is about disappointment in emotional matters in this deck, which is very, very different from the definition I'm using otherwise. So, like I said, it's hard to choose a system because they are very different. And if everyone is using a different one than you, how do you people have a hard time. I had a hard time. Maybe you're having a hard time deciding whether or not your system is okay because no one else is using it. But spoiler alert, I think, as I said, you have to decide for you. And if it is you speaking to God or you speaking to the divine or you having a connection, only you can understand that connection completely. Other people can't really tell you all that much about it. You're going to have to figure it out. So, anyhow, this book gives you the exact date ranges to look for and what card or what you're going to find. And it picks for me, I'm December 1st, the Four of Diamonds. Like I said, I have a twin. So let's just read this and tell you what it would assess for me. And I'm going to give you a little what I think of this. Aspirations to be a front runner are encouraged by your number 1 birthday. Fortunately, your card indicates that you have the aggressive willpower to make this objective a reality. Despite your independent streak and desire for freedom of action, don't ignore that small inner voice that wants to share this quest with someone else. Although there's a good chance that you'll waste a fortune before you finally learn to hang on to some of it, Jupiter, your ruling planet, is likely to give you many chances to make it. As represented by the Six of Clubs, your planetary ruler warns that the opportunities may be lost through lingering in situations and jobs which have no future. Your material aspirations may cause you to totally overlook the spiritual vision, also implied in this card. Mars, your decadent ruler, suggests that while you should not really lack for vitality, as symbolized by the Six of Clubs, this planetary influence implies that you may have to develop your self-starter. Happily, a desire for action to be on the move should help minimize the inclination to become stuck in those comfortable, stagnant situations. You don't like to be told what's wrong with you, but you'll listen to objective observations. Bold and confident as you can appear, you're really not an egoist. It's just that you usually know what you're doing and where you're going. Although you'll probably have to work hard for success, consider yourself lucky as it is well within your reach. The practical overtones of your diamond card suggest that you have a special knack for business. The following notables who share this birthday with you also clearly indicate a potential for theatrical success. For example, your birthday mates include actor Cyril Richard, dancer Alicia Markova, actress-singer Mary Martin, comedian Woody Allen, and golfer Lee Trevino. You want and need affection, but you don't want anyone who's a clinging vine. You're more likely to be intrigued by someone who can keep you guessing. Torn between a need for emotional security and the fear of having to restrict your gregarious activities, you may be reluctant to commit yourself to marriage. You may be more willing to take this big step with someone born on, and it gives the dates. So, point being, it goes pretty darn specific on how your life is going to go. And while I do feel it's pretty darn accurate for me, I don't think it matches my sister also well. So for me, this system, it speaks to me, but I would not expect to speak to necessarily everyone. Point being, does that mean that it's not valid? I don't think so. So I also went into, oh, I haven't even read this yet, but it gives you a life spread also for each card and a much more detailed rating. And then it gives you several more ways to you can predict each year and more that I did not go into. I will link to this book uh, in either in the comment section or description so that you can go read more if you want. Oh, rank and riches are chains of gold, but still chains. Oops. Giovanni Ruffini. Not sure who he is, but I like that. I don't have riches right now. And yeah, sure, I want them. Makes life easier. But I do understand this sentiment that it's still chains. Still, it's a huge responsibility that, many people don't understand. When you don't have wealth, you don't understand that responsibility. But with great wealth comes great responsibility. Or rank and riches are chains of gold, but still chains. All right, before we go, let's get a card of the day for today. What do we need to watch out for? What are we going to come back and talk about tomorrow? Awesome deck. What advice do you have for us today? What do we need to discuss and think about? What do we need to hear? That's kind of ironic. But we will talk about it tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what the meaning is because, yeah, that's for tomorrow. So if you enjoyed this video, please do press like and subscribe and come back tomorrow morning. You have some clues there about what this card means and are going to go off and think about it and let me know if this card speaks to you throughout the day. And I will be back to tell you more about what it means tomorrow morning and give you some verses to think about and draw another card. Hope you have an awesome day.